All right, next up, since that was so much fun doing that tank car, I thought, and by special request, also one of you asked if I do a Pro 2000. And so I went to the stacks and looked through, and sure enough, this is what I got. This PS2-CD High-Side Covered Hopper. And this kit is quite a bit more complex than our Athearn blue boxes. The instructions are fairly long. This thing's got quite a few instructions, and it comes with a lot of detail parts. I've already started doing some prep work, and this time we're going to follow kind of our same methods with one special thing. Let's talk about the trucks quick. All right, I've already disassembled the trucks, and I gave them a coating of our brown red oxide primer. They're already that color out of the box, but being that color and being slippery plastic, no paint would stick to them. And I want to do a little highlighting on this so that the trucks stand out a little better. I've already gone through and I have painted the inside of each of the wheels, and I used some Stirland mud. Literally, you open this up, there's mud in here. Okay, it's mud. You put that on there, and well, you can't tell too much. When you look at it just right, it looks a little dark brown in there. And the mud has a little tiny texture to it also. But these guys, basically, other than the highlighting I'm going to do, the trucks are ready to go. So that part being done, then I kind of chose these because I have pictures. I don't want to keep them Santa Fe because this is from the 1960s, and I know what they look like now, those that remain, or ones similar to it, because I've taken pictures myself. And I saw on a storage line hundreds and hundreds of these. Now, this is probably a 54 footer, but this is, I got here, kind of what they look like. And not only these, but I've got a whole bunch of other ones also where BN cars have just been kind of painted over whatever lettering they had on them and marked like this, or on the storage line, some of them have still say BNSF, others have just a new stencil with a different reporting mark on it and a number, and they're totally plain, and they are basically the red oxide color. Fortunately, I took this from a bridge, and I got a picture of the top, and that top right there is the same top that will be, that's the top that is on these models. Walkway around those long hatches. So what I've already started doing is I have started by just painting brown over the Santa Fe. Now, those Santa Fe lettering on there, they are pad printed. They're very thick. And I'm going to leave the ATSF. That really isn't going to matter because in operations, nobody's going to care. Fortunately, these guys, they all have a different number. So I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Each one of them has a unique number. And I've just painted some brown over it. Like some of the ones like this, especially in the storage line, there are ones where you can see that have a new reporting mark stencil on them, where basically that's what they did. It almost looks like someone took a roller and just rolled over some of the stuff. Now, this takes many coats. Now, I don't want this to look like a rust bucket, but I want it to look kind of like that. I know the Tuscan red on these Santa Fe cars is a bit more towards brown, and those cars that I showed you, I took a picture of, they lean more towards the red oxide, but they get bleached, sun bleached and stuff. So this is what we're going to be doing. Now, so the next thing I'm going to do in prep work is I'm going to finish off these panels. Then I'm going to go ahead and let's go back to this guy again. Let's zoom in. I want to do, you see how that's not a rust bucket? There's some of that streaking effect on the top there where we used on that tank car, we used a little bit of diluted white to make that. We'll do a little bit of that maybe. A little bit of this, but take a look at the ribs. These ribs are darker, and that's because you can see what looks like on here brush strokes. That's just melting snow and dirt coming down the side. And we've got stuff that will make that effect. I'm going to do these ribs. I'm going to darken up the ribs a little bit. That'll give it just a little bit of contrast. And I'm not sure. Normally I would just dry brush that, but I think this time we'll try something like an AK pencil. I don't know. I'll figure out something, then I'll tell you what it is. So that's where we're at for prepping these. And once I get the lettering cleared, and so at least that's not the darkest one. One of these here is this one is probably about done. I don't care if you can just barely make out what's behind it. That's no problem. We're gonna blend this a little way, but I want it to look like it was just deliberately painted over. That's the look I want. And then I want the ribs to be highlighted, stand out, maybe panel lined or something. I want them to stand out a little bit. And then maybe we do a little bit, maybe some dry brushing, I'm not sure. Or maybe we will just use some a black wash to get that effect. We'll see when we get there. So that's where we're at, that's where we're starting. And I'm doing, so if you are going to do something like this, I suggest start with the easy part, the trucks. Get the trucks together so that they are going to be ready. And this time we're going to try to be more efficient than we were before, because we're doing 3 of them. And I don't want to spend 2 days doing 3 of them. I want to get them done faster. These come with some interesting couplers. Well, they're Katie's, but they're all, I think they're Katie's. I don't know. We'll find out when we open these couplers up and see what they are. We got a lot of detail parts. And I intend to put those parts on. These are kits where guys will get to a point where it's operational and they'll look at all these little tiny things and be like, no, that's too much. They'll put it in operation, or they'll put it back in the box and they'll sit idle for a long time. Then they've got these weights. These weights actually feel pretty good. This is one set of car weights. I may not need to add extra weights. And these weights screw in. So that could be good. We'll find out when we get them in there. We can always add extra weight. But that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to finish off this brown paint, and then we'll move on to the next part.